Hello everyone, just going to take a quick overview video of our John Deere 450C. I believe it's like a 78 or 79 model, something of that nature. Anyways, it's got pretty good undercarriage. This was a farm unit, at least the last job it had was from the farm. Sprockets look pretty good. They got a lot of life to them. Links, they look pretty good underneath. Even the pads, they've got the 3 Gauser, which I'm not a big fan of, but you know, low impact, that's fine. Everything seems to look okay on the undercarriage. Engine purr is pretty good. Got some new loader hydraulic lines on it. Those were pretty bad. One of them ended up popping. I gotta tell you, those are not fun to replace. And the tilt cylinders, they're not that big of a problem. It's the lift cylinders that you have to go deep inside, and then they route up through the top. You can see, not fun. We got a couple plates we need to get, foot plates that cover the hydraulic lines. Got your fuel plugs for your steering. I've done that in a video already. Fuel tank. We have 2 hydraulic lines coming out the back that have couplers on them, but they leak like crazy. So I keep this bucket here to not drip that everywhere, but that's going to be on order to replace. Get those taken care of. This unit we bought came with a backhoe that it works, but it needs some TLC, I guess you could say. All the hoses are crap and seats all bent up. But anyways, it works. This is the hydraulic reservoir tank underneath here. Sight glass. I took that off and cleaned it so I could actually see the fluid. I am going to make another video. I had to pull the hydraulic filter that's inside of there out because it had collapsed and the hydraulics weren't working very good at all. And of course that's why we found that the filter, it's a metal filter, was just busted inside. It was really hard to get out, but also on order. So right now I'm actually running it without a filter and trying to collect all the debris. There's some of the cloth that was in that filter had torn out, and luckily the way this reservoir is, as I'm running it, those big chunks seem to be collecting at the bottom. So when I get the new filter, I'm going to drain that and vacuum out all that garbage in there and put new fluid in it. Same thing on this side. The undercarriage looks pretty nice. Sprockets are good. I don't know if they're just replaced or if it never really got that much use. Can't tell because of all the gauges don't work. But like I said, this was a farm unit. We had to go out in the pasture to get it cranked and moved. The belly pan on it was taken off. It I think got damaged. We have the belly plate, but it's all tore up, so we haven't put it back on. Got a roller here, maybe leaking, but that also could be when I had to yank out that filter, so I gotta keep an eye on that. Got one lift cylinder here that's definitely got some leak to it. Not too bad. I'm not going to mess with it right now, but I'm sure that's going to have to be replaced soon. Now that the filter was pulled out, the hydraulics are at least working. Well, Right now I've got it down at idle, so it don't do much. Here, let me pick this up. Now let's see. The engine sounds pretty good. It's got a starter problem. I'm going to put a new starter on it. I'll make a video of that. That also doesn't look like it's going to be that much fun, but I bought the special wrench. Let's see if that makes it work better. But now that I took that filter out, the hydraulics are slow, but they work. And they're lifting, and I tested it on a big concrete block. It lifted it fine, so seems like the power and the pressure's there. Just needs a new filter on it. And of course, these old machines never really had fast hydraulics anyway. Transmission filter up in front. Right now I just got a boat seat in here because the original seat is all torn up and was really trash. It would just cut you up when you sat down, so unbolted it, got rid of that. So underneath the seat you've got your transmission fuel plug right there. That's where you add transmission fluid. Got a bunch of your lines and a bunch of garbage that builds up over time apparently. I've got to clean all that out. Sorry, just using my cell phone. So here's the hydraulic reservoir. To replace the hydraulic filter for your loader, you actually have to take all those bolts out right there, pull that casing off, that cap off, and your filter is attached to the bottom of that with a long bolt. Like I said, ours was in horrible shape. It was all collapsed and bent. It took a lot of work to get that thing out of that reservoir, but I did get it out. Put it back up with no filter, but I've got one on order to get that replaced. Need to clean all of this up. That is actually water from a rain that we got in there. There's a seal on that cap that needs to be put back on pretty good, unless you always plan to keep it in a dry spot or under a shed, because water will creep its way in there. Going to be putting a gear reduction starter on here to take care of any of those problems. Still has service sticker on it. All in all, it's a pretty good running machine. You can pick these things up in good running order. I guess based on where you're at, for around $10,000 if they're in good shape. Excellent shape, maybe 15. And I see them a lot for $3,000 or $4,000 for parts. But they're pretty good running machines. I mean, I actually like these old John Deeres, so they're relatively easy to work on. You still can get parts for them, probably used, but you know, there was enough of these to still be able to find parts for it. So, all right, well, I'm going to do some test digs with it now that I put the teeth on it that came with it. They're not that great, but they're there. And I'm going to do some digging with it now that the hydraulics are working with them. Well, usable. All right, so now I'm on the driver's seat of the unit. See what this thing can do. You got to definitely kick up the idle to get those hydraulics working well. They don't want to even move at idle. So let's see what kind of digging this thing's going to do with these teeth. I'm going to put it in first gear. We're going to go from there. Oh, gotta pull the second thing out. Dozer tracks are way better, but you can get a good scoop. All right, so there she is, and this is what I've torn up based upon my phone in about 7 minutes. Now, I am by no means a skilled crawler operator, and as you can see here, this is pretty much what the creek looked like before I started knocking stuff down. I'm gonna try to really smooth this whole thing out, but I think it did a pretty significant amount of work in 7 minutes. And one of the key things here, one of the reasons I wanted to use this, try to knock it down, is we had a lot of cane here, and you can kind of see some remnants of it dead over there. I stayed on top of that with a shredder. Just every time it would come up, shred it, come up, shred it, and strangely enough, it killed out pretty much all of that cane. There's still some scragglers, but they have this really connected root system. It's probably not super easy to see here, but I mean it's a significant root system. And my tractor, just 40 horsepower, if I ever tried to kind of clean up some erosion or do something here, I mean, it just couldn't handle it. Those roots are in there so strong that I'd either come down here with a skid steer and just chop at them, or I'd get the backhoe and come out here and just really rip them up. But either way, they definitely held together quite well. This track loader made quick work of them. I like it, you know, for the size and weight. It's a nice track loader, but there's one problem I have with this thing, and that's these dang tracks. Those 3 Grouser bar tracks just have no traction. I don't even put a strain on the engine when this thing gets stuck, and it just spins those tires, completely loses traction trying to push over anything, really. I mean, it does a good job. It knocked it down. I had to wiggle it and lift and drop and move, but it did it. But man, if this thing had better bars on it, better grouser bars like on a dozer, I think it would have done even a significantly more amount of work than that. So all in all, these little John Deere 450Cs, pretty good little tractor. I think this comes in at around 16,000 pounds, something like that, with no attachment. So, you know, you're getting on the big side of what you can pull around on a farm trailer and behind a 1 ton. I mean, you could go a little bigger if you have a nice heavy duty trailer, but can't go too much bigger. So it's a good farm unit, a good unit if you need to move it around a little. But you know, we have a significant amount of dirt work to do. I think I'm going to try to pick me up some kind of dozer that's hopefully in the range of 30 to 40,000 pounds, and something with some good tracks, but also not something that's a pain in the butt to work on, or even really needs to be worked on, hopefully. But that's it. That's John Deere 450C. Alright, thanks everyone. If you like my videos, or if I'm helpful in any way, if you would click subscribe, and then leave any messages in the comments if I'm doing something wrong, or you got some hints or tips or anything to give somebody for these units. Leave some comments down below, let everybody know what to do. Alright, thanks everyone.